episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. I am joined alongside a special guest, Drunk Khalil Mack from Twitter, as some of you may know him as. It's Thursday, September 30th, 2021, and today we are covering all Chicago Bears news up to date. And on our main topic of the day, who should start for the Chicago Bears this upcoming Sunday against Detroit Lions. But before we dive into it, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray. Stupid Car Tray saves the day. I have one. Tony has one. The whole entire Just Another Year team has one. Drunk Khalil Mack could have one soon. Who knows? And 70,000 other people also have one. It's great for leveling out your passenger seat. Great for when you're on the couch and want to keep your beer and chips level. Head over to the website in the description below for 16% off your entire order using code JAY. That's J16, 16% off the entire order. Drunk Khalil, welcome to the show.
Yep. Thanks for having me, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. So what inspired Drunk Khalil Mack before we jump into it?
Yeah. You know, I've gone on this a few times from like friends and family, but if you were you on Twitter back in like the early 2010s, so maybe like 2011, 2012?
Yeah, I was the annoying middle schooler back then with a Twitter, but yes, I was.
Yeah. So like it's kind of the early days of Twitter, and you know, memes were starting to become more like meme culture, kind of mainstream, whatever. And there's this account that I thought it was so funny, Drunk Kane. So it was like Drunk Patrick Kane, and that's essentially kind of what inspired the whole thing. Like, I don't think it's active anymore. I don't know. I don't even know who used to run that account, but that was so funny. Like, it was always on the fly. You know, something would happen in a game. 10 minutes later, they'd have something like some sort of like meme or some sort of like cropped picture photoshopped in there. So I always thought it was funny. And then once, you know, we signed Khalil Mack, for some reason my brain's like, oh, Drunk Khalil Mack, let's do it. So that's the inception of Drunk Khalil Mack.
Yeah, you got to love it. I mean, I remember that was one of the first accounts I think like everyone followed, especially if you were in Chicago, the Blackhawks being good and Patrick Kane being the young 20-something-year-old he was at the time. And you look at him now, he's a quiet guy, just still does what he does, has a kid, but he is no longer Drunk Patrick Kane. So I love it. You're one of the first accounts I actually followed when I entered the whole entire Bears news, Chicago news scene. So, you know, we go way back, but yeah, I've been watching you from then. Great stuff. I have his handle is right under his side of the page. Again, he does not want to have video up today, just a full disclaimer, and we fully respect that. So with that, Drunk Khalil Mack, let's jump into it. Just going to go over some quick news real fast from the Chicago Bears. Matt Nagy will not disclose who's calling plays again this upcoming Sunday. Though Olin Kreutz, one of the Bears' all-time great centers, said it himself, it means Bill Lazor is calling the plays. And today in a press conference, Bill Lazor was actually one of the head speakers during Thursday's media day. And there was a lot of smirks on his face whenever someone would ask, are you calling the plays? So a lot of little hints and Easter eggs have been given out throughout that. Let's go into injuries real fast on top of that. Justin Fields, it's officially a thumb injury. It's not a hand injury. Was a full participant in practice the last 2 days, which is very likely he is going to be the starter against the Lions. Andy Dalton, who is recovering from a bruised bone injury in his knee. He is QB1 if fully healthy, was limited to practice the last 2 days. So Fields is looking more like to be the starter, but who knows? Stay tuned for our episode tomorrow on who will be the starter for the Chicago Bears. That will be released tomorrow from the Chicago Bears media room. Darnell Mooney was also limited with a groin injury. Eddie Goldman with a knee injury was limited. So there is hope that he will finally play this Sunday against the Detroit Lions. Khalil Mack with a foot injury did not practice. So a little bit to come there. Tayshaun Gibson Sr. with a hamstring injury did not practice as well. And Joel Iyiegbuniwe with a hamstring did not play. So Bill Lazor spoke very highly, going back to the media day really fast. Bill Lazor spoke very highly of Justin Fields' play so far this week, even with the thumb injury, is excited what he may bring this Sunday. Again, that's a double hint that Fields is going to play, and also Bill Lazor is calling plays. Via Brad Briggs this morning, though, Bill Lazor is apparently going to be calling plays. I know I've gone in like 8 different circles, but in all, it sounds like Bill Lazor will be the play caller for the Chicago Bears, that Matt Nagy has given up his play calling duties to him very quietly. We'll find out more tomorrow, so stay tuned for our episode. But Drunk Khalil Mack, who is on the injured list as of right now with a foot injury that happened against the Browns, ended up getting a sack after coming back from the locker room with that foot injury. Do you think he'll play this Sunday against the Detroit Lions?
Yeah. So with Khalil Mack, the guy's I don't want to jinx anything, but I think he will play this Sunday. He plays usually banged up a little bit, but I think he'll be able to kind of play through that. But going back to Nagy too, thank God he's given up the plays. I hope I can't deal with another tight end shuffle pass or some sort of other Andy Reid 2.0 wannabe kind of play.
The quick slant, the draw up the middle 4 times in a row. Yeah, totally understand that.
It works. It works.
So, kind of going into that, you have Justin Fields, you have Andy Dalton, you have Nick Foles on the field. And on the roster right now, Nick Foles is the only for sure quarterback that's fully healthy for the Chicago Bears. Who are you throwing out there this Sunday if Bill Lazor is calling the plays or if Matt Nagy's calling the plays?
Yeah, so I would say, Justin Fields. He played last week. I don't want to blame that on Justin Fields. He was not in a situation to succeed there. But, you kind of have to ride on him. You can't – if you throw Nick Foles in, it kind of makes the whole thing very skewed, and it looks like a shit show kind of quarterback carousel of who's running the show. But I think you have to ride with Justin Fields. You may get some confidence back with, playing the Lions, who aren't the best team in the NFL. So I'm hoping he starts and Bill Lazor, if that's confirmed, can utilize him fully.
Yeah, absolutely. And I totally agree with that. I think that, no matter who is calling the plays should definitely use Justin Fields. It's to the best ability, the confidence that a rookie can gain when going out there against a bad team is always key in regards to that. Kind of a follow-up question to that. Justin Fields had a lot of success with Jesse James in the offseason, a lot of the twos, let's say, in the offseason. And you heard that throughout training camp. You heard that throughout the preseason. If Justin Fields gets it going this upcoming, I know that's your quarterback for this upcoming Sunday, but if Justin Fields gets it going for the Chicago Bears, is throwing those 50-yard passes, is on a streak or anything, who do you think his number one target's going to be this upcoming Sunday?
Yeah, usually for the young quarterbacks, they like to favor the tight ends. They're big. They're always running routes that are really close. They don't have to throw the ball as far away. I would say either A-Rob or maybe he gets Cole Kmet going. A-Rob you throw it his way, he'll be able to catch that. Cole Kmet, he's a big body. Hopefully they can utilize him to his full potential. We have yet to see that, but I think we'll be able to. They'll get a good connection going there.
So, you're going off the tight. I agree with the tight ends. So the Bears have obviously, Jimmy Graham, who a lot of people were upset that we kept, but was our best red zone target last year. You have Cole Kmet, who's up and coming, could be another Jimmy Graham if he continues to progress. And then you have Jesse James, who was kind of an unexpected tight end that the Bears picked up in the offseason and, obviously made the roster because he impressed a lot during the offseason. Would you say that he's probably going to favor Jimmy Graham more than Cole Kmet? Or do you think he's going to favor, or is he going to favor Kmet? Or is he going to favor his favorite target in the offseason, in the preseason training camp, in Jesse James?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the play and, who's there in the right spot. For this Sunday, I'll take a tight end over a wide receiver, like fantasy-wise, whatever. It doesn't matter who it is there. If they're open, I feel like he's going to favor that cushion, that security blanket that is a tight end. So, if it's Jesse James, if it's Jimmy Graham in the red zone, or if it's Cole Kmet, I think whoever's in the game at that point, if they're in the red zone, they're in the 20, 30-yard line, be looking for those tight ends. He's probably going to hit them. At least that's what I believe.
I couldn't agree more with you. Kind of going from, my end in regards to who I think will be playing this upcoming Sunday for the Chicago Bears. If Matt Nagy's calling the plays, I'd throw Andy Dalton or Nick Foles out there. Now, the reason why I say this is I mentioned this in the last podcast that we posted yesterday on September 29, 2021. Dalton and Foles are not afraid to change the play at the line. And, neither one of them are afraid to go against Matt Nagy. You saw that a lot. You saw that famous clip of, Nick Foles, kind of like talking with Nagy, like getting in his face saying like, hey, like, no, you should be doing this. Like, why are you doing that? And Matt Nagy's kind of got his head down, like, yep, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. And Foles has expressed that frustration before, going against the head coach that has no idea. A lot of what Bears fans see, and anyone pretty much sees that, Matt Nagy has no idea what he's doing. Andy Dalton's the same kind of guy, might do it more respectfully, or you haven't seen that on clip, but you see Andy Dalton, calling out a blitz package. You see Andy Dalton saying, who's dropping back into coverage. That was something that Justin Fields really missed against the Cleveland Browns. And though, if you look at it and I don't know if you heard the Myles Garrett interview after the Browns game, but he said the Bears were running the same exact package, same exact, 4 plays every single time. So Justin Fields wasn't calling that out. He was just saying like, yep, he's coming this way, even though he knew it was coming because the Browns knew what was coming. And that was something that Justin Fields as a rookie is going to make mistakes with, but that's something that's truly missed. And that's why if Matt Nagy's calling the plays, I'm going with Nick Foles and Andy Dalton. Do you kind of agree with that? Do you kind of see what I'm saying, or do you have a different perspective?
Yeah. So, if I guess I have to go back to my response. So if Andy Dalton's healthy, he's able to play, start Andy Dalton, because Andy Dalton didn't look that bad against the Bengals. It was a revenge game, so it kind of he was playing on a different level in terms kind of elevating his game. But it's really weird right now with their prep, and the whole coaching scheme is really messed up in the sense that who's going to get the reps with the ones, who's going to get the reps with the twos, and being indecisive like that really affects the locker room. It really affects like that chemistry that you can build within the week. So wavering back and forth is not going to help the team whatsoever. But in that being said, Andy Dalton him getting injured, Justin Fields kind of got thrown in there indecisively. He just got thrown in there. So it wasn't really what they had prepared for. So I'm thinking Justin Fields gets the reps with the ones, then hopefully he will be able to perform to his full ability this Sunday.
Yeah,
but
and that I agree.
I do like 100%. Dalton. I was a big Dalton hater, but he did look good. He did look good last Sunday. And he ran for that first down, ran a couple times. He was not the Andy Dalton with the Cowboys.
No, not at all. And I'm happy you said that because I know that early in the offseason, you just admitted, like you were not an Andy Dalton fan at first. But, you're a bigger Twitter account. You have a big following. A lot of people go to you for Bears content. When you say that, like, I think a lot of Bears Twitter kind of like ate their words a little bit. I was fine with the Andy Dalton signing because that was the best option at the time. We had no idea we had no chance of getting Russell Wilson. We had no chance of getting Deshaun Watson, which it looks like it worked out. And we had no idea if we were getting Justin Fields. And Andy Dalton, it was between Andy Dalton and Ryan Fitzpatrick. I call him Fitzmagic. Like it wasn't, what it was. So, Andy Dalton was the best option at the time.
Everybody really, and too, you throw Russell Wilson in there, everybody's like, all rationale is thrown out the window. Everyone's, we need Russell Wilson or bust. If we can't get him, then Deshaun Watson. And you get an Andy Dalton who's not mobile. He's not really in his prime anymore. He's over the hump a little bit. Everybody's they had their hopes up already. Fans are going to be pretty pissed off, including myself. I was not happy. It was, for me, it was like Mike Glennon 2.0.
Well, the neck's a little shorter, the hair's a different color, and overall, I think he's a little bit better of a quarterback.
No, definitely.
But, if Bill Lazor is for sure calling the plays, I think that Justin Fields should be out there. There's no doubt about it. Let the kid play, and you're going to get – and also Bill Lazor is a much more skilled offensive coordinator than Matt Nagy is. There's no doubt about that. Matt Nagy might be the leader, the hype man, everything that you need in a head coach. But overall, Bill Lazor is the guy that should be calling plays. A lot of people might not know this, but last year, Bill Lazor called 4 for sure games for the Chicago Bears last year. And in those 4 games, he averaged over that 4-game span 30-plus points a game and over 400 yards offense. So hopefully Bill Lazor, opens it up. Yeah, and one of them was against the Detroit Lions. It was a loss, but he overall opened it up. So very excited for Bill Lazor to potentially be the play caller. And if he is, throw Justin Fields out there. So, Drunk Cleo, I got one more thing for you. According to a few things, the Bears, if they lose on Sunday, it may be Matt Nagy's last game as the Chicago Bears head coach, and he'll be the first coach fired in the middle of the season. Do you think this could actually happen, or will the McCaskies ride out this season with Matt Nagy?
Yeah, I don't know. If they lose on Sunday to the Lions, it puts them in a really tough position that they've never been in before. We dealt with Trestman, and he was pretty bad after his first year. He had that first year, he comes in kind of that Nagy had. he's really hot. Nobody knew what he had. But then everybody's adjusted to what Nagy has at this point. He's not like the new hot kid on the block anymore. They know what he has. He's not going to pull anything else out of his ass. So if they do lose, they should fire Matt Nagy. Now, will they? I don't know. The Bears operate on a very respectable kind of level of football, that kind of old school football. We don't hire guys like, the Bengals would hire, or we don't sign guys like the Bengals would sign that have like all these charges and like any sort of off-season issues. So I don't know if they'll fire him. I'm hoping they do, because we need to get the best out of this defense. This is the best the defense has been since 2018. But I really don't know, Nick. What do you think for that?
The Bears are looking at a bright future. Obviously, with the news that Arlington Heights is going to be happening, they signed the PSA for Arlington Heights, so that makes it very likely that the Bears are going to move out there. You have to be like fresh start with everything, and you have to start building that future now for the Chicago Bears. The Bears, when that stadium is built, they're going to Chicago will host the Super Bowl that year, because that's just what happens when a new stadium's built. Guess where everyone's going? There, because it's exciting. Some of the most famous and most powerful people in the world are going to be there. And it's the biggest game in the world, arguably, or at least in the United States. So overall, I think that, yes, I think I could see it happen, because the McCaskies are done. Just the way their body language is, and like hearing from the fans pay to keep the Bears alive. The fans pay to keep the McCaskies having a top 20 most valuable team in the world. And they haven't cared about fans, but they've tried over the last couple of years. And I think I give the credit to McCaskies a lot, that they've done more steps than they did back after the 2006 team. I mean, they just let that team for 14 years, or 12 years, if you think about it, till 2018, really come back. And the Bears are coming back. So I think that the McCaskies would say, you know what, Matt Nagy, you're not the guy. You blew your shot. But also, here's a rebuttal for you. Is Pace going with him then? Because that's Pace's second head coach.
Yeah, let's hope that, the McCaskies are ready to turn over a new leaf. With the Arlington Heights, that would be a good segue into, we lost this game. No more bullshit. We're going to Arlington Heights. Matt Nagy, you're done. We need to turn over and become something else. But, no, I don't think they'll get rid of Pace. Pace kind of, with signing Justin Fields, he earned a couple of years. Unfortunately, but Pace isn't, he's had some draft picks develop, Darnell Mooney, other late round guys like Jordan Howard, but he really put us in a shitty position cap wise for the next couple of years. And, Jerome Khalil Mack to contribute a lot to that. But, going out there and signing someone like Khalil Mack was, like, I don't think in Chicago that was one of the biggest signings we've had in like my lifetime.
Yeah, no doubt.
As I remember. So I think, the McCaskies are ready to, they're able to put some money on the field. They're ready to make some bold statements. And if they do lose, based off what you said and kind of me thinking about it more right now, I think they would fire Matt Nagy. I don't know, on Sunday or on Monday, but let's hope, because, if you lose against the Lions, that's bad. And the Lions are hungry. They're 0-3. They had a couple close games. They're going to be playing to win. So
the Lions aren't bad. The Lions are not a bad team. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's the Lions. Like, they put up 33, I believe, against, was it the Niners or the Ravens? They were defeating
the Ravens. They almost beat the Ravens last week.
They almost beat the 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, because they were beating the Packers at halftime. The Lions, don't go sleeping on them. Jared Goff has 801 yards and 5 touchdowns with 2 picks through 3 games. Like, better stats than anything we got right now. So, overall, don't sleep on the Lions. The Lions they're doing the rebuild, I guess, right. But it's like the first time the Lions have ever done a rebuild right. So overall, like, just such an interesting time to be a Bears fan. But, you got to –
draft picks paying off. Sewell is holding his own. He's one of the best tackles right now in the game. Sometimes you got to make a move like that. Sign that big left tackle with a top 10 pick.
Right now, in the way the Chicago Bears offensive line is, would you, if you could go back in time, would you trade up for Sewell, or would you still take Justin Fields?
No, I would not trade up.
I'm just throwing that out there. It's a a lot of people are gonna go, what? Like I just had to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't because but if it was between another quarterback and Swell, absolutely. Yeah. Justin Fields is like a world-class athlete.
He's a real deal.
He's like the only quarterback I believe that would like actually succeed in our system with our O-line and what we have here, and can adjust to that. And he's a proven winner too. So, no, I wouldn't go back and do that. But
and you mean an offensive line without a 39-year-old Jason Peters and without Jermaine Ifedi, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we really
need Peters. Just a little over the hump. Just a little bit for it.
It's crazy.
He did look good in week 1 and 2. Last week, I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Well, he had Myles Garrett against him, so you got to give him that.
True. Yeah. But I don't know if you saw, there's some clips week 1 and 2 that he was getting pancakes out there. Like, you see someone coming in, he just goes and he pancaked the shit out of a couple of guys, and I did not know that he could still play at that level, which is kind of nice to see from a 40-year-old man.
So the last comment I'll make, I'm happy we're closing on Jason Peters. I know we kind of went off track from the quarterback's perspective, but no worries at all. So both of us can agree Justin Fields, if Bill Lazor's called in the plays for sure. Anything else, Andy Dalton. No Nick Foles, though. Do not throw Nick Foles out there unless it's tinted visor, Atlanta Falcons, Nick Foles. But the last thing I'll say about Jason Peters is that I think that Bears fans are overreacting a little bit. He did look really good against the Rams and the Bengals. And it was the one bad game he had against Myles Garrett, who was on an absolute tangent, and also Peters was just kind of on his own. And you have Larry Borum coming back hopefully in the next couple of weeks, so I give Jason Peters a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. If he does it again this week against the Lions, who have a much weaker defensive line, especially at the end position, then I would start pointing the finger at Jason Peters and especially Jermaine Ifedi. But give it one more week. That's all I got to say to that.
Yeah, the best thing about a bad loss like that is that's the absolute bottom of the barrel. There's only improvement from that point. So I think
don't challenge Matt Nagy.
I don't think you could have 2 back-to-back games like that. It's really, really hard to do.
I hope you got some wood around you. I can't see, but knock on wood, everything. Because if it gets any worse than that last game, I don't know. I don't know. But
yeah, if it does get worse, Nagy, you got to move to Australia or something. You got to get off the grid, dude, because Chicago is going to burn your house down, dude. You cannot go back-to-back games like that.
That is not a for sure threat, by the way. That is just a statement of speech. Statement of speech. Total joke.
Figure of speech. Sorry. I'm not provoking anything either.
Remember, he's drunk Khalil Mack. He's not thinking exactly.
Oh, yeah. A little drunk right now. Sorry about that. Did not mean that.
No worries. But Drunk Khalil, thank you very much for coming on. Great to finally get you on the podcast. And we'll definitely have to do this again soon.
Yep. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. Yeah. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside Drunk Khalil Mack, and we'll see you guys next time.